How many brilliant ideas, crucial conversations, or game-changing moves died in the 5 seconds after you thought of them? That tiny pause where doubt whispers maybe later, or it's too risky. We've all been there. Inside the demanding world of leadership and entrepreneurship, that moment of hesitation can be the difference between stagnation and breakthrough, between getting left behind and leading the charge. What if I told you there's a scientifically backed way to hijack that hesitation and launch yourself into action like a rocket? Imagine having a simple push-button mechanism to overcome your brain's natural tendency to play it safe, to talk you out of things. It sounds almost too simple, maybe even a little strange, but its origin is rooted in a moment of profound personal crisis. Picture this: a woman named Mel Robbins, finding herself at what felt like rock bottom. Her marriage was strained, her finances were collapsing, her career felt like a distant memory, and she couldn't even muster the energy to get out of bed in the morning. Lying there day after day, hitting the snooze button repeatedly, she knew what she needed to do, but doing it felt impossible. Then one night, watching a TV segment about a rocket launch, a completely random idea sparked. What if she just launched herself out of bed the next morning, like that rocket, counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And the next morning, before her brain could talk her out of it, she did exactly that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and she stood up. That bizarre, desperate act turned out to be the genesis of a rule that would pull her out of her rut and eventually transform the lives of millions. Welcome to CEO's Library, the 1% bookshelf, where we distill the insights from pivotal books into actionable strategies for leaders, executives, and those driving change. Today, we're dissecting Mel Robbins' global phenomenon, the 5-second rule. This isn't just about waking up early, though it certainly helps with that. More profoundly, it's a powerful metacognition tool, a way of thinking about your own thinking, designed to rewire your brain for action. It's about overcoming procrastination, conquering fear, boosting productivity, and building rock-solid, authentic confidence. By the end of this episode, you'll understand the neuroscience behind why this simple countdown works so effectively and exactly how to use this technique, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, to unlock your own everyday courage and significantly improve your results in business and in life. Forget waiting for motivation to strike. This is about creating it through action. Let's revisit Mel Robbins in 2009. Imagine the weight she felt, a marriage teetering on the brink, finances in freefall, a career completely stalled, and the simple act of facing the day feeling like climbing Mount Everest. She intellectually understood the steps needed to turn things around, make calls, look for work, have difficult conversations, but the gap between knowing and doing felt insurmountable. Does any part of that resonate? Maybe not the exact circumstances, but that feeling of inertia, that knowledge of what needs doing, warring with an internal resistance that keeps you stuck. Why is there often this vast chasm between our intentions and our actions, especially when the path forward feels difficult, scary, or uncertain? Why do we hesitate even when our instincts scream go? This is where the 5-second rule enters the picture, not as a motivational platitude, but as a practical tool. Mel Robbins defines it very clearly. The moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move, or your brain will stop you. It will talk you out of it. It will flood you with doubts, excuses, and anxieties, all designed to keep you safe within your comfort zone. Think of the rule as a mental gear shift. It performs several critical functions almost instantaneously. First, it interrupts habitual patterns of behavior. Hesitation isn't just a pause, it's often the first step in a well-worn habit loop. The loop of overthinking, the the loop of worrying, the loop of avoidance, the loop of fear. Counting backwards breaks that automatic sequence. Second, this simple act of counting down activates your prefrontal cortex. This is the part of your brain responsible for higher-level functions, planning, decision-making, deliberate action, and focus. When you hesitate, ruled by feelings or fear, other parts of your brain, often the more primitive, reactive parts, take over. The countdown effectively forces a shift, putting the thinking part of your brain back in the driver's seat. Third, and perhaps most importantly, for those moments when you just don't feel like it, the rule helps you sidestep your feelings. As renowned neuroscientist Antonio Damasio pointed out, human beings are essentially feeling machines that think, not thinking machines that feel. Our emotions often dictate our actions, or lack thereof. The 5-second countdown acts as a distraction mechanism. It gives you just enough mental space to move before the feeling of I don't want to can cement itself and paralyze you. You don't need to feel ready, you just need to act. Fourth, the rule creates what physicists call activation energy. Think about trying to push a stalled car. Getting it moving from a dead stop requires the biggest burst of effort. Once it's rolling, even slightly, it's much easier to keep it going. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 go provides that initial jolt, that activation energy needed to overcome the inertia of inaction. And that 5-second window? Mel argues it's critical. Based on research and observation, she posits that you have roughly 5 seconds from the moment an idea or instinct strikes before your brain's protective mechanisms kick in to kill it. Your mind is designed to resist change, to avoid risk, to conserve energy. So, it generates excuses, magnifies potential problems, and whispers doubts. Why count backwards? Because counting forwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, allows your brain to just keep going. 6, 7, 8, continuing the pattern of delay. Counting backwards, however, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, creates a finite point, a launch sequence. There's nowhere to go after 1 except go, a physical movement. It's a forcing function that propels you forward. So, here's your first mission, your first personal experiment with this tool. Think about your typical day. Identify one small, recurring hesitation. It doesn't have to be monumental. Maybe it's the hesitation before making that first cold call of the day. Maybe it's the pause before opening the document for that report you've been putting off. Maybe it's that moment after work when you know you should go to the gym, but the couch looks so inviting. Pinpoint that moment. Then, tomorrow, or the next time it occurs, consciously deploy the rule. As soon as the instinct hits, followed by that familiar wave of resistance, start the countdown in your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And on go, physically move, stand up, pick up the phone, and dial the first digit. Open the laptop and click the file. Put on your gym shoes. Don't debate it. Don't analyze it. Just move. Treat it as an experiment in overriding your internal resistance. Observe what happens when you bypass the debate and simply initiate action. Now let's talk about that ever-present productivity vampire, procrastination. We all have that nagging task list, don't we? That important project we know we should tackle, the one that could move the needle significantly, but somehow later always seems like a better time. Or perhaps you're a serial snoozer, hitting that button again and again, stealing precious minutes from your morning. What if we reframed procrastination? What if it isn't primarily about laziness, as we often self-critically assume, but rather, as research suggests, it's your brain's way of seeking stress relief? The task feels overwhelming, difficult, or maybe just plain unpleasant, so putting it off provides a temporary reprieve from that stress and that snooze button habit. It turns out it might be actively sabotaging your peak brain power for hours after you finally drag yourself out of bed. Consider Scott, a PhD student Mel Robbins writes about. He was drowning in stress, overwhelmed by the sheer volume of lab work and writing required. He knew what needed to be done, but the anxiety it provoked led to crippling procrastination, fueling a vicious cycle of more stress and more avoidance, until he started using the rule just to get himself to the lab, just to open the research paper. This brings us to a core insight from the book regarding productivity. Mel Robbins argues forcefully that waiting for motivation is futile. She calls motivation garbage. Why? Because it's a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. We won't always feel motivated, especially when facing challenging tasks. Action, she insists, must come first. It's the act of doing that generates momentum, and, often, the feeling of motivation follows after you've started. The 5-second rule is the practical how-to behind Nike's famous slogan, "Just do it." It provides the mechanism to initiate action even when motivation is absent. Let's specifically address owning your mornings, a crucial battleground for productivity. Many high achievers swear by their morning routines, and there's solid science behind it. When you hit the snooze button, you're repeatedly interrupting your sleep cycles. This leads to something called sleep inertia, that groggy, foggy feeling that can significantly impair your cognitive function, your decision-making, and your focus, sometimes for up to 4 hours after waking. 4 hours, think about that lost potential. The alternative? When the alarm rings, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Get your feet on the floor, stand up. This immediate physical action helps significantly reduce sleep inertia and sets a tone of decisiveness for the day. Mel champions the idea of using the first part of your day, maybe 30 before 7:30, for your priorities before the demands of the world start flooding in. Emails, meetings, crises. This leverages your peak morning brain power for strategic thinking, planning, or deep work. It connects directly to Parkinson's law, the idea that work expands to fill the time allotted for its completion. By taking control of your morning, you allocate prime time to your most important tasks, rather than letting reacting to others dictate your day. And how do we beat procrastination directly using the rule? Dr. Tim Pickhill, a leading researcher on procrastination, confirms it's often rooted in avoiding negative feelings associated with a task: boredom, frustration, anxiety, self-doubt. Mel synthesizes this with the rule into a simple, effective strategy. First, acknowledge the impulse to procrastinate and forgive yourself for it. Berating yourself only adds another layer of negative emotion, reinforcing the avoidance cycle. Second, briefly visualize your future self, the one who has completed the task. This slight detachment can provide objectivity and remind you of the benefits of getting it done. And third, the crucial step, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just get started. Don't focus on finishing the entire overwhelming project. Just start. Open the file. Write the first sentence. Make the first call. This triggers what's known as the progress principle, discovered by Teresa Amabile at Harvard. Small wins create a positive feedback loop. Progress, even minor progress, is incredibly motivating. Furthermore, our brains have a bias towards remembering unfinished tasks, the Zeigarnik effect, so once you start, your mind is more likely to keep prompting you towards completion. Here's challenge number 2. Let's tackle that procrastination beast head-on. Pick one specific task you've been actively avoiding. It could be big or small. When you next have the opportunity or scheduled time to work on it, and you feel that familiar urge to do it later, apply the rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get started. Commit to working on it for just 15 minutes. Set a timer. You don't have to finish it. You don't even have to do it well. You just have to start. Initiate action for 15 minutes. See what happens. And for owning your morning, tonight, make a simple change. Put your alarm clock across the room, forcing you to physically get out of bed to turn it off. Tomorrow morning, when it rings, fight the urge to crawl back under the covers. Use the rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get up. Stand tall. Notice the difference in how you feel, both physically and mentally, compared to days you hit snooze multiple times. Beyond getting things done, let's delve into the internal landscape, the mind battles we all face, the nagging worry that loops endlessly in your head, the grip of anxiety that can feel physically debilitating, the paralysis induced by fear, fear of public speaking, fear of failure, fear of rejection, sometimes even the paradoxical fear of success. These internal states can be just as detrimental to our progress and well-being as external obstacles. Mel Robbins is incredibly open about her own decades-long struggle with severe anxiety and panic attacks, which adds immense credibility to her insights. She discovered that the rule wasn't just for overt actions like getting out of bed or making a phone call. It was a powerful tool for interrupting negative thought patterns and managing emotional states. What if the path to confidence she proposes wasn't about somehow eliminating fear or anxiety entirely, but about learning to act despite these feelings? What if confidence isn't something you're born with, but something you build through small, consistent acts of what she calls everyday courages? Think about this concept of everyday courages. It's not about heroic, life or death situations. It's about the push required to do things that feel slightly difficult, scary, or uncertain in our daily lives. Speaking up in a meeting when you have an idea but fear judgment. Introducing yourself to someone influential at a networking event. Starting a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Raising your hand to ask a question. Mel often points to Rosa Parks as an example, not as a planned strategic move, but as acting on an instinct, a feeling that enough is enough, without overthinking the potential consequences in that crucial 5-second window. Courage, in this context, isn't a personality trait reserved for the fearless few. It's a choice, a decision to act on an impulse towards growth or values, and the 5-second rule is the mechanism that enables that choice in the moment of hesitation. There's a powerful story Mel shares about an introverted engineer at Cisco. He desperately wanted to share an idea with the then CEO John Chambers, but was terrified. Seeing Chambers across a crowded room, his instinct screamed go, but fear immediately flooded in. He used the rule 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and started walking towards Chambers before he could talk himself out of it. That single act of courage, however uncomfortable, led to a significant career opportunity. It perfectly illustrates the link. Action, however small and scary, builds confidence. It proves to yourself that you can act despite fear, and that's the bedrock of genuine self-belief, regardless of your natural personality type. So how do we use the rule specifically for these internal battles? Let's start with worry. Worrying is essentially a negative thought habit, a mental loop that rarely leads to productive solutions. The moment you catch yourself spiraling into worry, use the rule as an interrupt. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, consciously redirect your focus. You need to replace the worry thought with something else. Mel suggests using gratitude, forcing yourself to think of something you're genuinely grateful for, or develop a positive anchor thought, a specific positive image or goal that you can immediately pivot your attention to. The key is the interruption followed by intentional redirection. Now, anxiety. Anxiety often feels overwhelming, a diffuse sense of dread or nervousness. Here, the rule is combined with a powerful reframing technique backed by research from Harvard Business School. Physiologically, the bodily responses to anxiety, racing heart, faster breathing, heightened awareness, are remarkably similar to the responses to excitement. The difference lies in our interpretation. So, when you feel that wave of anxiety rising, perhaps before a big presentation or a crucial negotiation, use the rule 5, 4, 3, 2, and then consciously tell yourself, out loud if possible, I am excited. Reframe the physical sensations not as a threat, but as energy you can harness. This simple relabeling can channel that nervous energy productively instead of letting it paralyze you. And what about specific fears, like Mel's own intense fear of flying? Here, the rule is paired with the anchor thought technique more intensely. When the fear triggers, turbulence hits, takeoff commences, execute the countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then immediately and intensely focus your entire mental energy on a pre-chosen positive anchor thought, a detailed visualization of a desired outcome directly related to overcoming the fear. For Mel, it was vividly imagining her children running to greet her at the destination airport. This anchor thought needs to be more compelling and emotionally resonant than the fear itself. Hold on to that image with deliberate focus, refusing to let the fear narrative take over. All these small acts, interrupting worry, reframing anxiety, facing down fears, speaking up, starting the task, contribute to building what Mel calls real confidence. It's not based on arrogance or external validation. It's the deep-seated self-trust that emerges from repeatedly proving to yourself that you can rely on yourself to act, to push through discomfort, to honor your instincts and goals. Each 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 push is a micro-deposit into your confidence account. It aligns with the work of personality psychologist Professor Brian Little on free traits, the idea that while we have core personality traits, we can consciously choose to act out of characters in service of our core projects, the things that truly matter to us. The 5-second rule gives us a tool to bridge that gap, to act like the person we want to be, even when our default settings scream retreat. This leads us to your final challenge. Take a moment now, or right after this episode, and think of one specific situation that consistently sparks fear or significant anxiety for you. Maybe it's giving feedback to a direct report. Maybe it's asking for a raise. Maybe it's networking. Now, proactively create your tool for that situation. Will you use the "I'm excited" reframe, or will you develop a powerful, detailed anchor thought related to the positive outcome you desire? Write it down if you need to. Prepare it in advance. Then, the very next time you feel that familiar fear or anxiety rising in that specific situation, execute the plan. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and immediately deploy your chosen mental tool, the reframe or the anchor thought. Take the action you were fearing. Alongside this, look for just one small opportunity today or tomorrow to practice everyday courage. Speak up with an idea when you normally wouldn't. Volunteer for a task slightly outside your comfort zone. Introduce yourself to someone new. When the impulse strikes, don't hesitate. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it. So, let's bring it all together. The power of the 5-second rule isn't some kind of mystical enchantment. It's grounded in the principles of metacognition, using your conscious mind to direct your brain's automatic processes. It's an incredibly simple trigger that countdown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, designed to achieve profound results. It allows you to override the hesitation that kills ideas and opportunities. It gives you the activation energy to launch into action and break the grip of procrastination. It provides practical techniques to manage anxious thoughts and interrupt worry spirals, and fundamentally, it helps you build genuine courage and unshakable confidence, not by waiting to feel brave, but by taking action, one small, decisive 5-second decision at a time. Remember Mel Robbins' own journey, from hitting rock bottom, unable to face the day, to radically transforming her life, her career, and inspiring millions worldwide, all starting with that simple decision not to hit the snooze button. Action truly is the antidote to fear, to doubt, to stagnation. The potential residing inside you, the leader you aspire to be, the goals you aim to achieve, they are waiting for your decision to act. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, for motivation to magically appear, or for your feelings to align perfectly with your ambitions, your life, your career, your impact. It's all happening now, in these moments of choice. Use the 5-second rule today. Start small. Apply it to getting out of bed without snoozing, or making that one slightly uncomfortable phone call. Then do it again tomorrow. Build that muscle of decisive action. Create momentum. Prove to yourself definitively what you are capable of when you refuse to let hesitation win. As Mel Robbins powerfully states, you are always just one decision away from a totally different life. Find the full transcript and accompanying visualizations for this episode at ceoslibrary.com, ready to dive deeper and make this tool a permanent part of your leadership arsenal. You can find the link to purchase your own copy of Mel Robbins' groundbreaking book, The 5-Second Rule: Transform Your Life, Work, and Confidence with Everyday Courage, on Amazon in our episode description. Equip yourself with this life-changing tool today. And if you found this valuable, share this episode with another leader, an aspiring entrepreneur, or anyone you know who needs this push towards action. Now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go make something happen.